Before your first tear ever touched your face, Allah already knew the pain your heart was carrying. Some tears do not fall from the eyes. Some tears fall inside the heart, where nobody can see them, nobody can count them, and nobody can understand how heavy they really are. My dear sister, maybe you smiled while your soul was tired. Maybe you stayed quiet because explaining your pain became too exhausting. Maybe you made dua with a tired voice, asking, Ya Allah, why did this happen to me? But listen carefully. Your pain was never invisible. Your tears were never ignored. Your heartbreak was never meaningless. Before the world noticed your smile, Allah already knew your wound. Before anyone heard your story, Allah already knew every chapter you survived in silence. And sometimes, the pain you thought would destroy you becomes the very path that brings you back to Allah, stronger, wiser, softer, and closer than before. So do not believe your tears were wasted, because Allah sees what people overlook. 1. Allah sees every tear before anyone else does. My dear sister, one of the greatest lies pain tells you is that you have been forgotten. When people stop asking how you are, when your messages go unanswered, when your kindness is repaid with silence, your heart begins to wonder if anyone truly sees what you are carrying. But this is where faith changes everything. Before a single tear rolled down your face, Allah already knew the pain hidden inside your heart. Before you whispered your dua in the darkness of the night, He heard every word your lips could not even speak. Sometimes you cry where no one can see you. You smile during the day while your heart quietly breaks inside. People may misunderstand your silence, overlook your sacrifices, or never realize how much you have endured. But Allah never overlooks a single moment of your struggle. Every tear, every sleepless night, every silent heartbreak is known to Him with perfect knowledge and perfect mercy. Never believe that your pain has no value simply because people ignored it. The one who created your heart knows exactly why it hurts. He knows every disappointment, every betrayal, every prayer you have repeated with hope. What feels invisible to the world is completely visible to Allah. So do not measure your worth by the attention of people. Measure it by the care of your Lord. Your tears are not signs of weakness. They are moments that bring you closer to the one whose mercy never fails. Even when you cannot understand what Allah is doing, you can trust that He is never absent from your story. He sees every tear before anyone else does, and in His perfect wisdom, not a single tear is ever wasted. 2. Your heart had to break so your soul could heal. My dear sister, not every broken heart is a punishment. Sometimes it is Allah's way of rescuing you from a future that would have wounded you even more. We often pray for happiness, but Allah first prepares our hearts to receive it. That preparation is not always comfortable. Sometimes it comes through disappointment, rejection, and the painful ending of relationships we thought would last forever. In those moments, it feels as if everything is falling apart. But in reality, Allah may be removing the very things that were slowly pulling you away from Him. A heart that has never been tested often depends too much on people, but a heart that has been broken learns to depend on Allah alone. That is where true healing begins. Your pain teaches you patience, your tears teach you humility, and your loneliness becomes an invitation to draw closer to your Lord. Every sincere dua made in the darkness carries a beauty that only Allah fully knows. Do not think your broken heart means your story is over. Sometimes Allah allows one chapter to close because He is writing a far more beautiful one. The pain that shattered your expectations may be the same pain that rebuilds your faith, strengthens your character, and purifies your soul. One day you will realize that your heart did not simply break. It was being gently transformed into a heart that trusts Allah more than it trusts this temporary world. 3. Allah removes what hurts you to protect what awaits you. My dear sister, one of the hardest lessons to accept is that not everything you lose is a loss. Sometimes what feels like the greatest heartbreak of your life is actually one of Allah's greatest acts of mercy. We naturally hold on to people, dreams, and plans because we believe they will bring us happiness. We pray for them, sacrifice for them, and imagine a future built around them. Then suddenly everything changes. Someone leaves, A relationship ends. A door closes. A dream falls apart. Your heart asks, Ya Allah, why did you let this happen? But perhaps the better question is, Ya Allah, what are you protecting me from that I cannot yet see? Allah sees what your eyes cannot see. He knows every conversation that never happened, every betrayal that was hidden, every disappointment waiting in the future, and every danger your heart could never recognize on its own. What appears to you as the end of something beautiful may actually be the beginning of His protection. The one who knows the unseen never removes something without wisdom, even when that wisdom is hidden from us. Many people spend years mourning what Allah removed, never realizing they were grieving something that would have slowly destroyed their peace. Sometimes the person you desperately wanted would have taken you further away from Allah. Sometimes the opportunity you cried over would have filled your life with regret. Sometimes the friendship you tried so hard to save would have continued draining your heart until nothing remained. Allah knows the future of every path long before you even take the first step. His knowledge is complete, while ours is limited. This is why faith asks us to trust even when we do not understand. It is easy to trust Allah when life goes according to our plans. The real test comes when His plan looks completely different from ours. That is when your heart must remember that Allah's wisdom is never separated from His mercy. He does not close doors because He enjoys seeing His servants suffer. He closes them because He knows which doors lead to peace and which lead to pain. Think about how many times in your life you thanked Allah for something that never happened. Perhaps there was a person you once believed you could never live without, but today you thank Allah that relationship never continued. Perhaps there was a decision that felt heartbreaking at the time, yet years later you clearly saw how Allah protected you from harm. These moments remind us that Allah's delays and removals are often hidden gifts wrapped in temporary pain. Sometimes Allah removes people not because they are evil, but because they are not written for your journey. Not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay. Some people arrive to teach you patience. Others teach you self-respect. Some reveal your weaknesses so you can grow stronger. Others remind you that your heart should never become dependent on anyone more than it depends on Allah. Every meeting and every goodbye carries a lesson if you are willing to see it through the eyes of faith. My dear sister, never confuse Allah's protection with rejection. Just because something ended does not mean you were forgotten. Just because a prayer was answered differently does not mean it was ignored. Allah may have been protecting your dignity, your faith, your future family, your peace of mind, or even your relationship with Him. There are blessings you will never recognize because Allah protected you before they could become disasters. The world often teaches us to chase what we want at any cost. Islam teaches us something far more beautiful. We are taught to strive, make sincere dua, and then trust Allah with the outcome. If He gives, we thank Him. If He withholds, we still trust Him. If He removes, we believe His wisdom is greater than our understanding. That kind of trust does not come easily, but it brings a peace that nothing in this world can replace. So if you are mourning someone or something today, do not only ask Allah to return what you lost, ask Him to open your heart to His wisdom. Ask Him to replace what was taken with something better for your deen, your dunya, and your akhirah. Believe that every closed door is making room for the right one. Every painful goodbye is leading you closer to the people written for you, and every tear shed with patience is seen by the most merciful. One day, perhaps sooner than you imagine, you will look back at this season of your life with gratitude instead of grief. You will realize that Allah was never taking away your happiness. He was protecting the happiness He had already written for you. And in that moment, your heart will finally understand a truth it could not see through its tears. Allah never removes what hurts you unless He intends to guide you towards something far better. 4. Every delay and disappointment is preparing you for something greater. My dear sister, one of the most painful feelings in life is believing that everyone else is moving forward while you are standing still. You watch other people getting married, building families, achieving their dreams, finding peace, and smiling again, while your own prayers seem to remain unanswered. Days become months, and months become years. Slowly, a dangerous question begins to grow inside your heart. Ya Allah, Have you forgotten me? But never allow shaitan to convince you that Allah's delay means Allah's rejection. These are not the same thing. A delay is not a denial. A closed door is not the end of your story. Sometimes Allah delays what you desperately want because He loves you enough to give it to you at the perfect time instead of the quickest time. Think about a seed buried beneath the earth. To someone who does not understand, it appears forgotten. It sits in darkness where no one notices it. There is no sign of growth, no evidence that anything is happening. But beneath the surface, Allah is preparing it. Roots are spreading deeper before the tree is allowed to rise higher. If the tree grew before its roots became strong, the first storm would destroy it. Your life is often the same. There are seasons when Allah is growing roots that nobody else can see. While you think nothing is changing, He is strengthening your faith, increasing your patience, purifying your intentions, softening your heart, and teaching you lessons that comfort could never teach. The greatest transformations often happen in silence. Sometimes you ask Allah to change your circumstances, but Allah first decides to change you, because the blessing you are asking for requires a stronger version of yourself. Imagine receiving everything you wanted before your heart learned gratitude. Imagine entering marriage before learning patience. Imagine achieving success before developing humility. Imagine receiving influence before strengthening your relationship with Allah. Some blessings become tests if they arrive before you are spiritually ready to carry them. Allah knows exactly when your heart is prepared. He knows the weight you can carry. He knows the timing that will protect your faith. He knows the future you cannot see. This is why His timing is always wiser than our emotions. Many of the prophets experienced long periods of waiting. Their lives remind us that waiting is not proof of Allah's absence. It is often proof that Allah is preparing something beyond human imagination. During those years of waiting, they continued making dua, continued trusting Allah, and continued doing good even when they did not immediately see the results. This teaches us something beautiful. Faith is not only about trusting Allah after receiving what you prayed for. Real faith is continuing to trust Him while you are still waiting. Perhaps today you are waiting for healing after heartbreak. Perhaps you are waiting for the right spouse. Perhaps you are waiting for your family to understand you. Perhaps you are waiting for financial ease. Perhaps you are waiting for peace after years of emotional exhaustion. Whatever you are waiting for, remember this: Allah is never late. The one who created time is never controlled by time. He knows the exact day your prayer will become your reality. He knows the exact moment your tears will become gratitude. He knows exactly when your heart will finally understand why everything happened the way it did. Sometimes disappointment is one of Allah's greatest protections. You believed a certain opportunity would complete your life, but Allah saw the hidden pain inside it. You wanted someone to stay forever, but Allah knew they would eventually damage your heart and your deen. You begged for a door to open, while Allah knew another door carried far greater barakah. Our vision is limited to today. Allah's knowledge reaches your entire future. That is why disappointment often becomes divine redirection. One of the greatest mistakes we make is comparing Allah's plan for our lives with someone else's journey. Comparison quietly steals contentment. Every person has a different test, a different timeline, and a different destination. The blessing that arrives quickly for someone else may not be good for you at this moment. Likewise, your delayed blessing may carry far more goodness than you can currently imagine. Allah never compares His servants. So stop measuring your life against people whose journey was never meant to be yours. Your story is unique. Your test is unique. Your reward is unique. My dear sister, every difficult season is shaping qualities that no classroom can teach. Pain teaches compassion. Waiting teaches patience. Loneliness teaches dependence upon Allah. Rejection teaches self-respect. Disappointment teaches surrender. Every hardship is quietly building a woman whose strength comes from faith instead of circumstances. One day you will look back at this chapter and realize that Allah was never ignoring your prayers. He was answering them in ways your heart was not yet mature enough to understand. What felt like silence was actually preparation. What felt like delay was actually protection. What felt like disappointment was actually mercy wearing a disguise. So do not lose hope because your timeline looks different. Continue making dua with certainty. Continue improving yourself. Continue protecting your relationship with Allah. Continue believing that every unseen moment is bringing you closer to the future He has already written. Because when Allah finally opens the door He has been preparing for you, you will understand why every other door had to remain closed. You will realize that every delay carried wisdom, every disappointment carried protection, and every unanswered prayer was simply waiting for the perfect moment chosen by the one whose knowledge, mercy, and love are greater than anything your heart could ever imagine. 5. The woman who trusts Allah never loses what is meant for her. My dear sister, one of the greatest battles you will ever fight is not against the world. It is against the fear that what is meant for you might end up belonging to someone.
Feel harmless. They constantly invite you toward comfort instead of discipline, toward temporary pleasure instead of long-term purpose. They say things like, you have time, there is no rush, or relax, enjoy life now. And slowly, your habits change. You become less focused, less disciplined. You begin to delay important decisions. You begin to avoid difficult actions. You begin to settle for less than what you are capable of achieving. Not because you are weak, but because their presence made stagnation feel safe. This person destroys your future. They keep you emotionally and mentally trapped in a smaller version of yourself. They prevent you from discovering your full strength. They prevent you from reaching your purpose. Every day with them is a day not spent on your growth. Every moment of distraction is a moment lost forever. When Allah removes such a person, it may feel like you lost companionship. But in reality, Allah is removing the barrier between you and your growth. He is removing the influence that was keeping you small. Sometimes you grow rapidly after certain people leave because their presence was slowing you down. Their absence allows your mind to become focused again. Their absence allows your discipline to return. Their absence allows you to reconnect with your purpose. There is a type of person who looks you in the eye and smiles, who speaks to you with kindness, who makes you believe they are loyal to you while secretly damaging your name in places you cannot see. They sit with you, laugh with you, act as if they respect you, but when you are absent, their words become completely different. They speak about you in ways that weaken how others see you. They spread doubt about your character. They share your private matters without permission. They slowly poison your reputation while protecting their image of innocence. What makes this person extremely dangerous is that you may continue trusting them while they are quietly destroying your reputation. You may never understand why people begin to treat you differently. You may never understand why opportunities disappear. Reputation is fragile. It can be damaged silently without confrontation, without your knowledge. This person does not attack directly because they fear losing access to you. They want to remain close enough to observe, to gather information, to maintain the appearance of loyalty. But behind your back, they present a different version of you. They exaggerate your mistakes. They twist your words. They present your weaknesses as your identity. They do this to elevate themselves or to reduce your influence. Allah warns us clearly about those who harm others with their tongues. Words are powerful. Words destroy trust. Words destroy honor. Words destroy relationships. And the damage caused by words often spreads faster than truth can correct it. This person attacks not only your present, but your future. They influence how others see you. They influence opportunities that come to you. And they do all of this while standing beside you, pretending to care. When Allah exposes such a person and removes them, it is not a loss. It is protection of your dignity. Sometimes you may feel shocked when the truth is revealed. You may feel hurt. You may feel betrayed. But Allah does not expose such people to hurt you. He exposes them to protect you from deeper damage that would have continued. Allah removes those who cannot be trusted with your name because your honor is too valuable to be placed in the hands of those who secretly work to destroy it. There is a truth that many people only understand after years of pain, betrayal, and exhaustion. Not every person who leaves your life was meant to stay. Not every separation is a loss. Sometimes separation is the greatest protection Allah gives you. Sometimes the very person you cried over was the very person Allah was saving you from. You may have loved them, you may have trusted them, you may have believed they would always stand beside you, but Allah in His perfect knowledge saw what you could not see. He saw their hidden intentions. He saw the damage they were capable of causing.